Alan Porter. Alan, what's going on, man? How are you?
How you doing? It's a great day today. Got some good news. My daughter was in the Mayo Clinic at Rochester, Minnesota this last week, and we got some fairly good news about her eye disease, and hopefully, and praying that it'll it'll work this time.
Oh,
So
okay. I'll keep her in my prayers, and at least you got good news, right? At the beginning of the week, you
yeah,
didn't think about good news. Now, close to the end of the week, it's a better news. All right.
yeah.
We're going to cover our topic today is how much of your 401k is yours? Alan, why are you asking me this question?
Well, a lot of people don't understand about vesting. Most people don't think about this very much, but until you're fully vested with your company, if you lose your job and switch companies, you usually won't get some or all of your employees match, and you'll forfeit some or all of it. Now, nearly all the companies use a graded vesting system, and these companies slowly vest you, giving you ownership. For a 1 year of service, and maybe you get 10%, and usually it takes 8 to 10 years. But for example, let's assume that your employee contributes $100 to your match. Okay, the returns were $10. So you're given 20% vested. You lose your job or switch job, you only get to keep 20% of the match and return. In this case, you'd only be getting $22 instead of the $110 you thought you had. But here's a real interesting fact. You're typically not 100% vested until, I'd say, 6 or 8 years, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. But the average person only works for the company for approximately 1.1 years. Excuse me, 4.1 years. And 59% of 401ks have cliff vesting schedules, which require you to stay with an employee for a minimum number of years. You don't get to keep any of the match. People aren't aware of this.
No, they're definitely not aware of this, and it's crazy, and because you think that it's your money, and it's really not. I think I know what you mean about for our listeners. Please explain vesting.
Well, that's basically what we just went over there a little bit. They need to become vested in their company before they're going to get their 401k.
Okay, I bet many people are not even aware of that. What is another reason?
Well, there's several, but taxes and fees, Neil. You know, understand this. We've gone over this before. A 1% fee over a 30-year period will reduce your income by one third. The average fee in a 401k, according to Forbes magazine and Lap Time, is 2.99%. People are going to have less than half of their money when they go to retire. And then they're hit with 20 to over 55% in taxes and possibly more. Their 401ks, and I think Edward Jones or Goldman Sachs, I think they had about the average for their people in 401ks, $215,000. That's not going to last very long at all. If you're taking any money out of it whatsoever, you're out of money in 2 to 3 years.
Alan, you have another note here. The numbers on your 401k and IRA are only paper wealth. What do you mean by that?
Well, I got a kick out of people. I said, "How much is your 401k?" Oh, they said, "Oh, I got $560,000 in my 401k. It's doing great." I said, "Well, you got $560,000 when you cash it out minus the taxes. You don't have five. That's all paper wealth. It's just like people say, well, I've got $2 million in the stock market. Well, it may be $2 million a day, but it could be $1 million tomorrow. It's all paper money until you go and cash it out. And then you've got fees, possibly penalties, taxes. People don't understand about all the problems that go with a 401k.
Alan, we discussed the risks in retirement, which I thought was very relevant. Can you go over a few quickly?
Well, Neil, this is very, very important to people. And I've talked to many people from 60 to 75 years. Some of them are millionaires. And one of the risks in retirement is what's called sequence returns risk. And their advisors, who are supposed to be fiduciaries, looking out for the best interest of the clients, have never told their clients about sequence of returns risk. And make a simple story here. Let's say you go to retire at 65. All right, you have a loss in the first 2 to 3 years of a 10 or 20-year period as compared to a loss in the last 2 or 3 years of a 10 or 20-year period. No, you're going to be out of money in 6 to 9 years. And I'll give you an example. Let's say you had $1 million in your stock portfolio at a 4% distribution rate. Now, they used to say that was a safe distribution rate to last until believe 30 years. I think that's got a 90 to 95% chance of, at that time, of lasting there. But now that's down to 2.8%. But let's say it's a $40,000. The first year you have a 10% loss in the market, Neil. Now that $1 million is down to 100,000 minus the 40,000 minus the fees they pay that advisor, whether they make money or not. And those fees may be 1%, 1.5%. It could be 2.5% or more. And if they have another loss in the following year, now you're talking 10, maybe 15% to get this distribution rate to get the same $40,000 a year. And if it happens again, you're going to be out of money in 6 to 9 years. People are not aware of this. And when I tell people this, I said, why hasn't your financial planner ever tell you about this? Well, I'll tell you why, because they're getting paid a fee whether they make money or not. It just blows my mind. But, you know, the number one fear in retirement, Neil, is running out of money before you run out of life. A stock portfolio can't do that. Another one, longevity risk, which is a risk multiplier, because the older you get, the more risk you have. You know, long-term care risk, which is extremely expensive. You've got government risk and tax risk. You know, I tell people, okay, you're getting a tax deduction. No, you're not getting a tax deduction. You're getting a tax compounder when you put money into a 401k, because you have no idea what the tax is going to be when you go to retire. And I want to work with people who are going to have to be the same standard of living or higher standard of living when they retire.
You know, there's so many more risks in retirement. You go
Yeah.
over and over and over and over again, right?
I can recall 18 off the top of my head.
Let's go. Let's hear.
Well, that's all right. Well, that's for another time. But there's so much information out there that people have no idea. You know, a stock portfolio at a 401k only compound the risk in retirement. And I have financial vehicles that eliminate or mitigate the risk in retirement.
I know, Alan, I know you have gone over this before too. What do you think is the best retirement financial vehicle is, and why?
Well, Neil, I found this out over a decade ago. First off, the 401k, it hasn't performed for the last 20 years. It's Ted Bienia, the person that invented 401k, said it's a monster that needs to be destroyed. You know, the other thing people don't understand, 58% of people don't even think there's a fee on their 401k. But in my opinion, and the opinion of properly educated individuals, the greatest retirement vehicle, the greatest tax code approved, tax-free retirement vehicle is cash value life insurance, whether it's a whole life policy or an index universal life policy. Now, I've got 5 of these index universal life policies for myself and my wife's retirement right now. And I don't have to pay them. They're all paid for. I don't need any money from it right now. And all it does is keeps growing. The death benefit keeps growing. But I can use that to eliminate the number one risk in retirement, running out of money before I run out of life. Now, I have no market risk, which a stock portfolio does, because I'm guaranteed by contract never have a loss due to a market downturn. We use indexing strategies to grow our cash value. You do have the cost of insurance, but it's so aleatory. You're paying pennies on the dollar for hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in protection. Long-term care risk. You can use that death benefit, 90% of that tax-free to pay for long-term care. You can't do that with a stock portfolio because it's not, the money's not there. I mean, it's protected from lawsuits, liens, and judgments. You're protected from probate, which will destroy a legacy, and people don't know about that. But you can become your own bank. I just bought a new car last week, Neil, and I borrowed from my life insurance policy, and I'm going to pay myself back, and I'm going to eliminate the effective interest cost and the compounding interest for the financial institutions. I'm paying myself back at 0% interest, and I'm going to make money on this. I'll probably make $4,000 or $5,000 in 3 years after I pay myself back, because I'm paid dividends on the original amount of money that I had in my cash value. People don't understand this. It's very, very important. But the other things that people don't understand, you know, everybody's got their opinion, Neil. I've got mine. But everything I'm telling you is based off scientific, economic, and mathematical facts. And the numbers don't lie. But the problem with the country right now, what's happened this last weekend was just god awful. But we're in a flux in our country. Hopefully, President Trump will get reelected, and taxes he's going for tax cuts. Biden wanted tax increases. And there's a Congressional Budget Office report out in the fall of 2022 on a $31 trillion deficit, Neil. If taxes aren't increased overall by 66%, the country is going to can't even pay the interest on the debt. The country is go bankrupt. Well, now it's over 35 trillion. And Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security takes up over. It's going to be taking up over 2/3 of the government money, and Medicare is 6 times larger than Social Security. And I talk to people all the time. Well, I'm not going to have Social Security. Well, they can make Social Security work. They just got to tweak it a couple ways. Maybe take it a later date or something like that. But understand, Social Security was enacted in 1935. I first paid out in 1942. You had to be 65 to take it out, and life expectancy was 62 at that time. Now you can take it out at 62, but life expectancy for a man is 85 and 87 for a woman. And back then there were 42 or 44 workers per one individual. Now are the 3 workers per one individual. And in 6 more years, there's only going to be 2 workers per one individual. So it's a huge math problem. And the government's not very good at math because they keep spending money and trying to get a balanced budget. And it doesn't seem to be working. It hadn't worked for years.
Totally. Oh my gosh. So much to talk about, but then how can we have conversations with people that get vested, get their 401k and think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread? What do they do with their company 401k? Is there a way to transfer it once they retire? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, you can transfer it once you retire, but there's different ways. First off, you can't do anything with it. You can't take money out of it until you're 59 and a half, which you can do with cash value life insurance, just like myself. Well, I'm 71 now, but you can take it out 50, 40, whatever to become your own bank and then pay yourself back because it's going to keep growing. But the thing is, people are offered, okay, you want the 401k, we're going to give you a 6% match. Well, again, you got to be vested and everything, or a 10% match, whatever. I've got the software to show you. I can get up a 20% match or possibly even more, and compare it to the benefits and the protection that you're going to get from a cash value life insurance policy. You don't outperform any 401k out there. And like I said, the numbers don't lie. But we've been inundated by the propaganda of Wall Street, these fee-based advisors. The only way to save for your retirement is the 401k, which has been outdated for over two decades.
Unbelievable. So what I'm saying is, what do you think the people that have 401ks, they should just stop contributing
Well,
as much and contribute into a cash value life insurance and hold off on that?
absolutely. Absolutely. First off, you're going to have a death benefit that's going to protect your family in case something happens to you. If you have a 401k and you're getting invested and you're not working long enough, you're not going to get that money. But there's so many benefits that go on along with a cash value life insurance policy. People tell me, "Oh, Alan, I've heard Susie Orman and Dave Ramsey. They're also, oh, insurance is a terrible investment." Well, first off, it's not an investment; it's an asset class all its own. And to call life insurance products an investment, it's a detriment to life insurance products because there's no other financial vehicle out there that gives you the benefits and the guarantees of cash value life insurance, whether it's whole life, index universal lives, or indexed or fixed annuities. Now, I don't deal in variable annuities because their fees are over 4% and they're tied to the stock market. But just like Neil, it's not about return on investment in retirement. It's about distribution of your assets. And I'll give you a quick scenario. You got $1 million stock portfolio at a 4% distribution rate, $40,000 a year. In certain fixed indexed annuities, you don't have to have approximately $650,000 out of that stock portfolio to give you the same $40,000 a year guaranteed for the rest of your life with increasing income. And I don't care if that accumulation value goes to zero, you're still paid that money for the rest of your life and possibly your spouse life. And now that leaves at $350,000 to do with what you want. You can pay the taxes on it and turn it into a Roth. Does not affect the taxation of Social Security or the means testing for Medicare Part B, which will be in the thousands of dollars per year. And people and their CPAs and their financial advisors have no idea about this.
None. Wow. All right. So the best place to go is email you at strategicwealth, 0 @gmail.com, or call you at 910-551-1046, or you can go to strategicwealthstrategies.com. Appreciate it, Alan. I think the last lesson is schedule a call because you want to look at their whole, financial plan and lay and see if they're on the right track. Show them that effective interest cost. Also
Yeah.
look at how they're being protected. And you have a lot of other financial vehicles, healthcare, all these other things as well for people.
Well, as I told you about 4 months ago, I got certified as a tax and business advisor. I'm the only one in North and South Carolina, and we're saving this. One of my first clients, we're saving them over $125,000 in taxes this year. We're going back a couple of years. I got another one, a small car dealer. It's a used car dealer. His taxes are over $65,000 last year. We're saving him over $42,000. But people, I mean, I got a new book coming up. It's out now. It's in print. I'll send you a copy. How to Beat the IRS Legally. Now, I co-wrote this book with Ed Lyons. He's one of the top tax-specific attorneys and CPAs in America. It's a short read, but it's full of information that people need to know.
Excellent stuff that's not going to be out there on the World Wide Web, because those big financial institutions don't want you to know the secret you're telling us right now, right, Alan?
No, they don't.
You got to contact them today. Appreciate it, Alan.
All right. Everybody have a great weekend. Okay.
All right. That was the Strategic Wealth Strategies podcast, guys. Take care.